Welcome to the 19th recording of Podcasters, today with Valentina Adami from Italy. Welcome, Valentina. Nice to have you here.
Welcome, Doron. Thanks
Well,
for
you're
having
welcoming
me.
me in my own show. Thank you. Tell us something about yourself.
Sure. Well, as you said before, my name is Valentina Adami. I live in Trieste, North Italy. And I'm here because I'm a conversation designer. I have been working in this role for about 3 or 4 years. It all started back in 2018. At that time, I was looking for a new position, and I saw this Facebook post. It was a friend of mine, and soon I found myself involved in a collaboration with my local university and my friend's startup. We were supposed to build a voice-first application for students, and we focus in particular on visually impaired students. It was my first conversational AI project. I learned a lot of lessons. So we first started analyzing an existing web application. So the university had this platform. The students could log in and access the data about the exams, graduations, booking exam sessions, and so on. And so we started analyzing the main features, and then we started deploying for these the main features for a voice-first application. You have to remember that at that time, the Google Assistant entered the Italian market. So we decided to build for voice first and for the Google Assistant platform. Also because it would have been much better for visually impaired students. And so at first we developed the basic questions and answering topics. For example, students could ask which grade did I get in private law, for example, or English literature. And then we focused deeply on booking of the exam sessions. And that was really interesting because deep dive into the university web service and also in all the things about conversational AI, so training phrases, giving back responses to the users, and so on.
You chose a hard path because actually in my previous podcast recording, number 18, we actually discussed that it normally it is wise to start with text first if it's your first chatbot to learn how it works. You sort of took a deep dive, and also it was about inclusivity because what I find interesting that most chatbots are not very inclusive, meaning it's one language usually. It's either text or voice. So if you're deaf, how are you gonna use the chatbot? It's difficult. If you're auditively impaired, I think it's called. And again, if it's just text and you're visually impaired, it's a problem. Or illiterate, same story. You can talk, but So I'm hoping at some point all chatbots are either voice to text, text to voice, or any combination possible. So it'll be inclusive on any front, and hopefully, of course, more than one language. But that's probably a future thing. Hey, but that's cool. And what is the chatbot situation like? It sounds like the weather in Italy. What is it mostly voice or text or both?
No, generally speaking, I would say that it's most text-based. We did also some voice and text chatbots, but I would say from what I've seen, talking about the usage, people usually likes to type questions. And also talking about chatbot adoption in Italy, it's not so situation is not so good, I have to say.
Why not? What happened or what didn't happen?
Well, I have looked at some data that goes back to 2 years ago, and the Italian market value for artificial intelligence, generally speaking, is about 380 millions, but only 10% is dedicated to chatbot or virtual assistant development. And most of the time, big companies have at least one conversational AI project started. Only 6%, if I remember well, of medium-sized companies have digged into this kind of project. So let's say that innovation in Italy is not so huge, first of all. And
Is that
most
because of the people are not interested, or that the businesses are they have no necessity to innovate?
I would say the second one, because most big Italian economy is based in particular on small and medium enterprises. We have also big companies, but they are not so common. And so if you run a small company, uh, you know, it's difficult to have budget. It's difficult also to have the right team, the right tools. It takes investment and a lot of time to develop this kind of project. Um, I think also there is a cultural aspect to this. I would say also company directors know little about conversational AI, but also about artificial intelligence, in my opinion. And so they don't have a clear AI strategy to go on with this type of project. Then thinking about also from the consumer point of view, maybe people are worried about their data privacy. Maybe they don't think that their data is safe. I think these are the
It's so funny
barriers.
because everybody uses WhatsApp in Italy, right?
Yeah, we use a lot of WhatsApp, and
Or
also
Facebook or Instagram. So
you're right. Facebook is mainstream
it's
in Italy.
it's perception. So what we know the Gartner numbers and we know the projections that basically everywhere in the Western world, actually not only in the Western world, the chatbots and AI is going to grow rapidly and become a lot bigger than it is now. Do you think Italy eventually will follow or will lag behind like it is a bit now?
Well,
You know,
I
Italy is
will.
not listening now. You can say it.
Okay. Well,
Not yet.
I will hope that the chatbot and conversational AI will grow even bigger. I think that there are very good use cases that are suitable for companies and also for consumers, also for individuals. So let's keep finger crossed.
Well, and you're going to change all that, right?
Yeah, that's why we are here. We have to
Ah,
make
no, but
conversational better.
no, I would presume that at some point, labor, cost of labor is going to be an issue in Italy. Also in Italy, it's like in the rest of Europe, the people are aging. The country is, you know, the population is getting older. And so at some point, something needs to be done. in order to keep the same level of service. So it's not that there is a choice eventually. So
Well,
no worries, it will come.
yeah, we I hope so. Well, I mean, we don't have to replace humans with a chatbot, but in some cases, a chatbot can turn useful. For example, in customer service or whenever there is room for automation, you don't have to keep your people answering the same questions 10,000 times a day. They might
Exactly.
have a better job to do to give real value to the customers. So,
That's where it becomes interesting. Real value for the customers.
sure.
Because yeah, if you think about use cases which you've seen in Italy, where real value, in your opinion, real value was delivered to the customer, what examples do you see, or did you see in Italy, or did you work on, where you say, okay, this was something that we delivered, or that chatbot delivers real value to the customers or to the market, or it could be an internal chatbot, and made or makes a difference.
Well, just to give you an example, I use my mobile phone's operator voice first application to recharge my mobile phone, and it is frictionless, and you have only an initial friction when you have to set up account linking, because it is the first operation. When you have a smart speaker, you have to you have to link it to your account, and you use the smartphone. But once that is done, then it's done forever. So I think it is
And how does that work with payment?
it goes back to the smartphone, but it's really easy to do. So I think it is a really good use case, and I'm
So,
also
so,
thinking.
so hold on. Let me try and understand this. So you recharge it's a prepaid subscription, or how does it work? Is that what
It,
you're saying? You have a
yes, it's a pay per consume. For example, I can ask recharge my phone, my number with 20 euros, for example.
okay,
Yeah,
and then it automatically does that, and then it charges your bank account automatically.
it sends a link on my smartphone, and then I can complete that operation. But for me, it's useful only to invoke the action and start saying this command. I- Otherwise, I have to log in to the website, give my credentials, select the right link, select the total amount. No.
So it makes
Just
your life easy. You give a voice command, and you just make the payment, and it's done.
yeah, because I think it is useful because I can also do other things in the meantime. For example,
But you do that in a chatbot? It's not clear to me. Do you do that in a chatbot, or in the app of the provider?
it's the smart speakers application. So I
Sorry,
just
again.
invoke, no, I just invoke the um, parla con team. This is the voice command that you give to your smart speaker, and then it opens up directly, and you can start.
Ah.
So
Oh,
it
I
is,
get it. You use the voice command of the phone to
yeah,
open up to start the process.
yeah, exactly.
So it's actually okay. I understand it. So it's a voice command. It's not really a chatbot. It's not talking back to you.
Well, yes, you have some kind of dialogue because it asks for the total amount of money you want to recharge, and that's all.
Oh, it takes you through the process. So it asks you the
Yeah,
relevant questions, the information it needs to process the request.
but it is
Okay,
the
it's more
same.
like a process bot.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sorry, there's a small delay on the line, so and I start talking when. Anyway, I'll hold up my text a little bit so we uh, we don't have the delay. And any other use cases in a text bot, for instance, where you say, okay, that's really cool, or something you worked on that really made a difference
Well,
or delivered the value.
mm, uh, I will say that I have been involved in some chatbot the development project, and we started with a low level maturity project with some companies. Mm, They just started dipping their toe into this new technology. And for example, we were building an FIQ chatbot. Um, we had also another customer who asked for some basic automation because we realized that most of the questions they received from their customer was the classical question, where is my order? And so uh, we introduced this feature, so the users could just enter their code, and in a moment they would know about the shipment and the delivery. And it was really interesting to see these eh, how the consumers reacted to this. They were
And how
really
did they react?
at first, I realized that they were using the keyboard. They prefer to give input test in comparison to voice requests. And it seems that it was the most used intent, from all the intents. So it seems that it was the most interesting feature from that chatbot.
Very practical.
Yeah,
So the consumer just mostly used it to figure out where their order was.
exactly.
And the chatbot was faster than the customer service on the phone.
From what I saw, it seemed that customer service uh, was over it was overcrowded with the phone and receiving calls. So the chatbot was helpful also in this in, for this point.
So it made life of the customer easier. And but other than that, the customer didn't want to do anything else in the chatbot.
Well, that chatbot had also some other choices. For example, you could ask about payments you, or other choices about the goods they were selling. They were into makeup and perfumes. So they could search for a particular brand or of perfume or for a comparison between two products. But I saw that the users really liked the where is my order intent, and I thought that was a real value.
A stupid question. And did the company ever, or in the project, at any moment you thought probably have the phone number of the customer, and we know that's the most asked question, where's my to turn things around and be proactive to the customer and just send the order status via
Mm.
WhatsApp or text message or whatever, email. Did that ever occur, or the company was just waiting for a lot of people to call and ask about their order, which is also a signal that something is not going completely right, because if all goes well, people should get their order on time.
Well, I don't think they wanted to be so proactive, in my opinion. But I never had the chance to talk directly to these customers, so mm, I'm
Ah,
not
okay.
going to say
So
anymore
from the
because,
bureau,
yeah.
I understand. Uh, Sorry. And what kind of technology did you use for that project? Something very basic, Italian technology, or
Well, I usually use a lot Dialog Flow for
okay?
my first project, and also for the project I have done after the first one. And we also used some Italian platforms, and that they were both a prototyping tool and also a natural language processing engine. Yes, these two in particular.
Okay, and how does the Italian technology stand up to the technology of the rest of the world? Is it like a Ferrari amongst the chatbot platforms, or well, Dialogflow we know it's not Italian.
Well, I think they were useful for this kind of project, and they were also they had the chance also to deploy on different channels. For example, for test voice, for WhatsApp, web, of course, and also for voice. um, I didn't have the chance to get very deep into their technology because it's not something that they're going to allow you to do so. But I would say that were really practical to use, and they were useful to get the job done for what was necessary.
Was
Mm,
it low code or no code or
It was a sort. As a good question. Yes, it is. They were a sort of no-code, low-code platforms. One in particular was open to major integration, for example, with Zapier and other tools. The other one was not so open, and you had to develop your own code or web service to extend the capabilities of your assistant. But this is something that you can do easily, assuming that you have
what
also.
do you prefer? Sorry.
Well, it depends on the project.
I mean, do you hold on. Do you prefer a low code, no code, or Dialogflow where you sort of are programming?
I love dialog flow.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
That's okay. It's not good. There's no good or bad. What makes you like Dialogflow so much? We're not selling Dialogflow here. Just curious.
Well, it was my first platform that
First love. It was your
first
first
love.
love.
It's the first love. No, I had also to work with the Alexa um, Alexa developer platform. But I think that Google is really big with the automatic speech recognition, also with the NLU and NLIP. And yes, I should also learn more about other platforms. That is something on my bucket list. But I think that with Dialogflow you can start easily. You don't need to be already an expert.
If you look at the news, right? If you look at
Mm.
what you see in the news every day, or at Italian, the way things work in Italy, is there something where you would say, okay, here a chatbot or voice bot would make a big difference, or an example or something in the news where there was a chatbot or a voice bot and it made a big difference. So an actual application in all of Italy, or where you would say, okay, I would love to put in a chatbot or a voice bot there?
Well, this is a question I ask myself. For example, when I look at a web page, I think, for example, if there is a form, I think, okay, what if a chatbot or a voice bot would do a better job than this form? So this is something that it could turn useful. Um, well, but I think that the chatbot could be useful, for example, when you visit the government agency website. They are crammed with information, and most of the time you can't find the answer you're looking for. So a chatbot would be really cool in that case because you just ask and you get in a minute, less than a minute, what you're looking for. And
And they
then,
only add information, right? It
yeah,
only gets more and more and more.
yes, but
But
adding is not always the solution. Sometimes, but less is more.
I know less is more. But the problem is the government. They need to put out information for the consumer, for the
Sure.
people. Um, but it's the same in Holland. It's just hard to find, and I think they probably think it's virtually impossible to put a chatbot on it, and it's not. But and unlock information for the consumer in an easy and conversational way. I agree, but it's not just a Dutch problem or a Italian problem. It's a Dutch problem, and I think other European countries, same thing. What you see in countries like Estland or Georgia that used to be behind, they sort of jumped over us digitally, and they have like digital governments. I mean, when we had Jim Rowe on the show, he told us that, or he told me that in Georgia, you run a traffic light, a red traffic light. 15 minutes later, you get a text message with a payment link for your fine
Huh.
because you ran it. It's very efficient. And I talked to someone from Ukraine, and he said that something similar there. So I think because our countries are modern but sort of stuck in technology, countries that were behind and invested a lot of money, they're now ahead of us technologically or digitally speaking. For if we talk about the government, I'm not talking about private companies. And I
Well,
think
but
that's it's important to understand that chatbots, even with RPA behind it, could make a big difference in bridging that gap. And they're not going to change all the systems or backend systems from the government, but in terms of the interface with the consumer, it could be a bit easier.
yes, there is
So,
also, uh, yeah,
oh, go on.
I get your point, and I think there is also another issue. If you want to make agencies talk to each other and with chatbots, you have also to go out of the silos. I see a lot of silos between all the legacy systems, and it's not very easy to make them connect and exchange information because they are run by all the technologies. Very few people knows about the infrastructure. There is a lack of knowledge on how to make this system talk. It's not so easy. Uh,
So what can we do about it as the chatbot community? How can we get things moving in Italy or in Holland or anywhere where it's not moving as fast as we think it should? What can we do, in your
this
opinion, or what should we do?
this is a very interesting question. I think that should start educating the users, people, on how to use these technologies, and also to talk to company directors. uh, I do understand that it's not so easy to set up a chat bot or voice bot or whatever in 5 minutes time, but at least you can start simple with an FAQ chatbot, for example, and then you can go on with this. You can follow this path as you move along, and you understand better how the whole things work, and after you receive also feedback from the users. But this is important, this is really important too. So I think these are the things that we as professionals could do. Or maybe if there are some fundings from the European community, that could be also a good incentive to make companies adopt these technologies. I think there are some things that we could do, sure. But I think that
That's an yeah.
yeah, education for me is the first thing to think of, because most of the company directors or also managers, they, yes, probably they have heard a lot about conversational AI, but maybe they are not so sure about how much revenue they could have as a result. So it's a bit
Or
complex, but it's something
and how
that
would
it
you?
is moving.
But how would you
No.
go about educating not the community, because we know, but the companies or the politicians or the local politicians or the EU? How should we approach this? Because we know sort of what to do, but how do we do it? I mean, how do we educate them? Should we make a chatbot where we explain them how it works
This is a
and
good
send them a
idea.
link and invite them for a conversation? I don't know, just pops up. But where do we start? If you want to change something, you need
Mhm.
to start somewhere. It's basically the same thing. It's innovation. You need to start somewhere and make baby steps and make them bigger as you go along. It's exactly what you say. You need to start small and then. So how do we do this?
Well, I think that we should start by giving examples, showing real examples, and making also this discussion public. Or, for example, organizing events, writing books, or writing blogs. I think that people are aware of these all these problems we are talking about, but in my opinion, it seems that in politics there is few knowledge about the artificial intelligence topic. So maybe they should focus more on this topic. I understand there are major problems in everywhere, but this is also something that will change our life, and it is already changing our life. And uh, I'm not sure politicians really understand this point, in my opinion, of course.
From what I understood, I heard on the radio, they're working on, I think, on EU level, on AI legislation, because
Hmm.
of course there's a lot of good things about AI, but there's also some things that are not so good or a risk in AI, and I think they intend to de-risk it and make have the AI explain why it came to a certain conclusion or certain um, took a certain path to help you understand what AI does and reconstruct the thoughts of the machine, basically. But that doesn't help us or doesn't solve the problem. How do we wake up these politicians or company directors? A long time ago, I used to do with a friend something called stalketing. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
Where we stalketing. It sounds negative. It's not that negative. Basically, what we did was we saw something that wasn't good, or like a marketing campaign or whatever, and we would come up with something we thought was better, and then go to that company and present them a solution which they never asked for. That's why it's stalketing. It's not stalking, stalketing.
Ah, okay. Ah, all
And
right.
sometimes they did not enjoy us doing that, and sometimes they said, "Hey, this is fun. Thank you. That's better than what we did. Thank you. And how much is it?" And so we sold a few concepts doing that. Um, and maybe we should start doing that with chatbots. Just as a community, build. We see a problem. We know what a possible solution is. So why don't we make an example to let them feel and experience the possibilities of doing this kind of stuff?
Well, if you have the chance, why not? Sure. If they
Well, if
allow.
you have the chance,
Yeah.
you're in Italy. I'm not. No, but
Okay.
seriously, why most people on a most managers or directors or politicians are don't have a creative brain. So you can tell them something, but they can't visualize what it could be. So you can explain them, oh, but it can do this, it can do that, but then they don't see the opportunities. They just see what you just told them. And the idea is to visualize what you tell them, and then they start thinking, oh, can I, or start asking questions. Is this possible? Is that possible? Okay, that needs to be built, but at least you get them to ask questions. If you just tell them something in words, then most of the time, people that don't have a visionary mind, my opinion at least, they don't
Yes.
start asking
Mm,
questions. They're not, they're curious, but they don't know what to ask. And then you're not getting any further in the process. Well, you want to get further in the process and innovate and become better. So maybe that's
mm,
an idea that you target a certain company or something political. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we can all vote via WhatsApp? Do you have, how much fun would that be, right? That, or you
yes.
you ask artificial intelligence, help me choose which party to vote. You just voted in Italy, but help me which party to vote. And you just say what's important to you, and Chat GPT sort of selects which party to vote on.
No,
Wouldn't that be
no.
cool? No,
Well,
I understand it wouldn't be cool, but
I
it,
think
it
you are
would be
kidding.
interesting. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm actually not kidding. Because I can talk about Holland. In Holland, we have these websites, and also I talked to some researchers who did research on helping you select a political party through a chatbot. They did research on that, and very interesting. Um, but if you think about that, a chatbot can ask you the questions that are relevant to help you pick a political party, right? Because and why, and Chat GPT or GPT chat, whatever. Um, I didn't ask them, but I'm going to ask it. So help me. I find these things important in Holland. Which political party should I vote on? Let's see what it does. And then probably it says I'm not involved in politics. Like it says also with investments, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not going to help you. But in all honesty, people are lost. I don't know what it's like in Italy, but a lot of people have no clue who to vote for
Well,
and why.
I will ask ChatGPT because I'm too curious to see
Yeah.
its response. But I would like to choose on my own and not ask ChatGPT or any other large language model because I want to.
Do you have Chat GPT open right now?
No, I can open it, no problem.
Well, let's just do it. We're here now. Let's just test it and see what it does. If you can ask for political advice,
Okay, just a
just
moment.
we're opening up our minds here to something new.
Okay.
And of course, it's totally uncomfortable that artificial intelligence starts telling you, oh, you need to vote for
Uh,
this lady you put in as a president, right?
okay, okay.
President, prime minister.
Prime Minister, do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, if you're logged in already, so nobody can see your password.
No, no, no. Nobody
If
will
you
see my password.
Cool,
Okay,
go share.
okay,
Let's surprise everybody.
okay.
I didn't test
So,
it, so I'm really curious.
okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it. Go
Okay.
ahead. So,
So, what political
should I vote for in Italy?
in Italy?
But you should say something that you find important. Otherwise, it's too general. When I want taxes to be lowered.
Well, let's start simple this way. Let's see what
Okay,
happens.
I'm really curious.
Oh,
See, it's saying that. So they blocked it like with investment advice. They did the same thing.
okay, yeah. Yes,
Um,
I do like
but
this.
you can ask a different question. But you can ask a different question. Which political party in Italy wants to lower taxes?
Okay.
See if it moves that way.
To lower.
Lower taxes. I'm really curious what it says. Okay, it's not
It's
becoming specific.
diplomatic, exactly. Yeah,
No, I think they're afraid of lawsuits and trouble.
sure.
So I think they blocked certain alleys of data gathering or asking questions. They don't block it, but they just give a general answer where doesn't help you. Um, but that's
Yeah,
okay. So we understand. But if you think about it, okay, they're not helping. But if you think about it, imagine that you don't have to scroll through all the party programs and stuff like that. You can just, there's two things important to you. You ask a question and it tells you you need to vote for XYZ because that party has this in its program and that's not what they're going to do or that's what they want. I think the lives of a lot of people would become a lot easier if you make voting conversational. Politics.
well,
It's all about conversation.
it could be. What you see in Italy, every
In
innovation.
Estonia, they vote via
Uh,
what's no, in Estonia they vote via their smartphone. I think it's Estonia. They don't
Also
go
in
to a
Latvia,
voting office,
also in
or
Latvia,
maybe
they
it's
also
Latvia,
vote.
but
It's Lat.
they're way ahead of us. I mean,
Oh,
they don't need polls; it's live results.
I know.
So but what I'm saying is there's so many fields where life could be easier and we could use chatbots and artificial intelligence to make things better and easier and more and faster. Not that faster is always better, but I think we're spending a lot of in the old ages, we spend a lot of time finding information in libraries and in newspapers, etc., etc. Then it changed. Now we can get all the information we want, but it's so much. It's like if you can't convince and confuse them. I mean, how do you know? It's so much information. How do you know what's right and what's right for me or what's relevant? So you need to do a lot of reading in certain things. to understand whether it's relevant or not. That should be better and easier because we have the technology. We're just not doing it. We're just,
Exactly.
putting our minds full with a lot of crap, basically. That's my
I
opinion.
do agree. I do agree. Sure. Sure.
So that's why I love chatbots and artificial intelligence because it allows us it allows us to getting the information you need faster if the chatbot is good. And the same thing for artificial intelligence. I mean, I'd love to work in Holland. I'd love to work on um, um, voting via chatbot or pre-voting, doing polls via chatbot. Why do you have a panel of 5,000 people? Why not do we have a panel of 20 million people? Right? It's possible. Basically, then you have the real outcome, not a panel anymore.
And what about the security?
Do you think interesting thought. If you would vote in WhatsApp, yeah, that it's highly doubtful whether it's secure. Um, but you could also go to a secured web page. So have a link in WhatsApp and then click on that, and you can only use it once. Why not? It could be a personalized link. If
Yes.
it's not the government, if it's a
Hmm.
poll, it's not for the actual
Ah,
voting.
okay.
You would need a government app or something. That's different. But yeah, but to take a poll, why not? It's
If it is only a poll, yes, sure. If it is a high risk operation, I would like to know better how the infrastructure is going to be built because of
no, I
security
totally agree. Then,
is also an issue, you know.
but it's a different responsibility. But I'd love to be in a situation where we would build or think of WhatsApp or a chatbot in WhatsApp where there's artificial intelligence behind it, which asks me questions about what I think is important, and then based on AI, it tells me, okay, there's either this party or that party, and the advantage of this party is that party always keeps its promises, blah 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 blah. So it makes the most sense you would vote for X Y Z, and then
Well,
you decide in a poll voting what you vote, and then of course it won't be 100% the reality, but I would presume it would come damn close.
it
And then
could
we
be.
democratized. No, then we democratized the polling because now it's done by companies and they make money on it, and then it's over. They can't make money on it anymore. They're gonna kill us. We just ruined their business.
Well, WhatsApp is
But
very big. It could be
yeah,
the channel to deploy a system, generally speaking. I know the traffic.
so maybe we should make a trend. So maybe we should make a trans-European project where
All
we
right.
use the same technology and the same infrastructure, but different data. And because it's the same story, it's the there's probably similar questions, but in a different language. But it's the same. It's still the same. Would be an interesting European project of the chatbot community to democratize polling and helping people choose.
Yeah,
It's a good
this
way,
is good idea. This is
but
good idea.
we'll throw it in the group. Actually, by putting this out there, we're just putting it in the group. Um, okay. How do you perceive the future of chatbots and chatbot technology in Italy? But more, that's very specific. But in a bigger thing in the world as a whole, do you see it as something that, like the Gardner report, it actually gets that speed and that level of dispersion in the market, or you think it will be slower or doesn't will not fly at all, like they project? What is your view on that?
Hmm. Well, I can't predict the future, but I think
Hey,
that
neither can I. We can pretend, right?
Well, I think that ChatGPT and OpenAI's technology will be a game changer. It, it is already a game changer because this will affect the way we learn, the way we work. Also, as conversation designers, we will have advantages using this kind of technology.
Can I ask you one
Uh,
question,
yeah.
Valentina? You just said it's going to affect the way we work. That one I understand, but also the
Mhm.
way we learn.
We learn,
And
yeah,
yeah, and I heard it correctly. But what do you mean by the way we learn? You mean learn in school or university or learn in general?
I
Could you
think
specify that?
mm, I'm still thinking about it. I don't have a clear opinion about this, but I think that this will change how students learn at school, and also we as professionals will keep updated because with GPT-3, for example, you can ask for write a function that takes in two arguments and return whatever. And this is something big. It is the first time that you can ask a software to do the job for you. I mean, you know, the same also for students. You don't have to go to the library to do your own research, write down a summary of what you've just read. So it is something that it is a breakthrough. You
But
know,
aren't you afraid then that the ChatGPT is one example, but there's more on the market. It's not the only one.
sure,
Um, aren't you afraid that because they use everything on the internet as their source, right?
yeah. Or
But we
the
know there's also
internet,
a lot of
yes,
yeah,
it's
but
not
we also
only
know
the
there's a lot
internet.
of bullshit.
Uh-huh.
No, but everything it has access to.
Yes,
But
but
how do
also
we know
books.
that's correct?
This
I
is,
know, but how do we know the information is correct and true?
this is an
How do
issue.
we
Yes,
verify that?
I get you. This is an issue. Of course, this is an issue. But for if you ask ChatGPT or GPT-3 to summarize or to um, explain something that it is useful, you just ask for what you need and you have a response. So, um, I do understand your point, and really this is an issue because you don't have a source. But I was talking to my ex-coworker, and I asked her if she is using GPT-3 to generate tests. She is a copywriter, and she says that she does. Obviously, she needs to have a look at it and modify some parts, but this is how it starts, in my opinion.
I agree. I was in Holland on the radio. Someone who was also a copywriter, and she said, and I also gave it to a copywriter. I showed her the application of GPT-3, and I said, well, just give me a few keywords, and I'll write you an article in 3 seconds. She's like, nah, it can be done. And then I gave it to her, actually three versions of the same within seconds. And she's like, how the hell is this possible? I said, well, your work is going to change. And wake up. If you don't, you're going to be behind. You're going to be old school, and everybody else is going to be cheaper than you, and it's not going to be any better. Um, and the woman on the radio sort of said, yeah, that they have a hard time adapting to the thought that something as traditional as copywriting, because it is a trait, right? Is actually going to change. And when people shout very long time, it's not going to change, it's not going to change. One thing for sure, it is going to change. Um, It's a bit like automating shoe repair. It's like people say it can be done, but when people say it can be done, it's actually becoming interesting to get it done, to make it happen. It's what Elon Musk does. Everybody said it can be done, couldn't be done. The landing the rocket back on the straight up, and he's doing it, or he did it many times already. So, and I think that same goes for here. People are thinking very traditionally, maybe afraid of change, but they should embrace the change and then from then on make it better, internalize it and use it. And so for copywriting, I totally agree. It's already happening, and the ones that are doing it are making probably more money than the ones that aren't using it because they can handle more clients at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Still charging them a fee for an article, but not spending that time on it, which, that's where the money is. So,
Yes, I would reduce
and
yeah, I would reduce
but wouldn't
the
that be happening? But Valentina, wouldn't that be happening to conversation designers in the future? That we get to deal with a, Chat GPT type of software that actually we tell them what the conversation should be, and we give it input, and then based on previous conversations that have been built everywhere as their source, um, it starts building a new one. Can
oh
you
wow,
imagine that?
that would be cool. You do the
Yeah,
job
it
for
would be
me.
cool, but it would change your work. It would
Exactly.
change your work totally because you just you just think of what to do and then you tell the software and then it does it.
Well, but it is already happening. It is a news of 2 days ago that VoiceFlow integrated ChatGPT, so you can have your, for example, if a fallback is triggered, then OpenAI takes over and give a response to the user. So it's already happening, and it is also integrated that you can generate intents and also generate variations for responses.
Yeah, you told me that where you use ChatGPT to
Yeah,
generate intents or
yeah. So
alternative ways of saying things.
and now it is a fact. Go to VoiceFlow blog, you will see the
I will
news.
do that. Um, but we know it's happening, and we know also our work is going to change because of it, right?
Yeah,
But that's the fun part.
this is the fun part, exactly. And I also agree that change is really hard, but you have to adapt to it. There's no way back.
And since we're in a new business in a new field of expertise, I think change is our only lifeline because
Yeah,
things are going so fast that the only certainty is change right now.
exactly. Yeah.
Everything else is a variable. That's the way I see it. Talking about change and variables, of course, we test a chatbot live in
Of
the
course.
podcast. And you have one already. You selected a chatbot in English.
In
Which one
English,
did you choose?
exactly. I chose the National Deaf Children's Society. Um,
Which
this,
is interesting because voice bot can't be done because people are
yeah,
deaf, right?
sure, but you have tested a lot of chatbot in banks, insurance. We need something new. We need
Yeah, no,
something
I'm happy you chose a different. This is about change, right? I'm happy you
exactly,
chose a different path, basically a charity.
exactly.
But we're not going to be easier on them just because they're a charity. We'll be as strict on them as on anybody else. So take it away. Show us
Sure.
the. Please share
Okay.
your screen.
Okay. Just a moment.
Sure.
Share. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, National Deaf Children's Society.
Okay. So the widget is down here.
Ah,
Okay.
so what we do is when we test the chatbot, we read what we see, so the people on Spotify know what's happening. So we're on the website. We click the chatbot, and it says, "Hello, I'm Alex," which is interesting because that could be a male or a female name.
Exactly.
So it's
The,
sort of gender neutral. I think that's why they chose it, if I'm not
exactly.
mistaken. So just so you know, I'm not a human, which I'm really happy to say that. I'm an automated service known as a chatbot. My answers have been tailored to parents, carers, and family members of deaf children and young people up to the age of 25. You can type your questions and I will try my best to answer them. Then, before we get started, are you a parent, carer, or family member, professional, or a young person? And then it gives buttons: parent, carer, or family member, professional, young person, other. So, and then there's the box where we can type our message. So,
Okay. I
which
will
one do you
start.
choose, or are you going to type?
No, I would like to type and I would like to say hello to Alex.
Okay, say hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
And
And
hello. Here we
can
go.
you?
We have to be harsh. It does exactly the same thing as it started before. It says again, hello, I'm Alex, and the same thing with the menu, etc. Which probably hi is the trigger for starting.
Exactly.
Try again, hi. Just say hi and then enter. See what it
I think.
does.
Hello, I'm Alex.
And see, so hi is the intent for starting the conversation.
Yeah, it's the welcome. I suppose it
Okay.
triggers the welcome message.
So ask it something else to see if it
Okay.
or we
I will.
should. How
Okay.
can I give money? How
How?
can I donate?
Okay. Okay. How can I give money?
Let's see what it does. So okay, this is really weird.
Yeah. I got the point.
Let
Because
me
the
read. It
yeah.
says we asked, how can I give money? And then it answers, we know that many deaf people and families of deaf young people don't consider deafness to be a disability. However, even if you don't consider yourself or your deaf child to be disabled, you may still be eligible for disability benefits. Would you like to know more about disability benefits available in England, Northern Ireland, and Wales or Scotland? And then I can choose a button which area I would like or end the chat. But that wasn't the point. We just wanted to give money. We wanted to donate. So
It
let's
triggered.
try to use the menu above.
Okay.
So let's see if it goes back in the conversation. If you scroll a bit up.
Okay. For example,
So what are we?
I would like to
Let's say we
choose
are other.
other.
Oh,
Okay.
choose what you like. It's fine.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you rephrase it? Oh, I love it.
So oh my God. So we pushed a button which is still open. The menu buttons were still usable. We clicked it,
Yeah.
but then it can't refer it to the text just before. So basically,
Mm,
we just screwed the chatbot.
yeah.
Sorry about that. We didn't want to do that. So
Well,
now try the Scotland. Let's see what it does then.
okay. Well, maybe I'm going to
So do you
try.
think this is a technology problem, or they just built it wrong, or
Mm,
what do you think
l-
this
let's
is?
let's see if it reacts as a. Okay. Now
So whoa,
Scotland.
whoa, whoa! It starts firing a lot at us. It does
Yeah.
understand now what we asked, you didn't use the button. You typed Scotland, right, in the
Exactly.
box.
Yeah.
And what we said for more information, getting blah blah blah. It's a lot of blah blah. Then, can I help with anything else? You can type your questions or select below. Let's see popular topics, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let's
Let's
see what
go.
they got. What I think is good that it repeats what we chose. And here are some popular topics. You can type your questions too. Finding out your child has a hearing loss, understanding deafness, language and communication, education and learning, money and benefits, and chat.
You see,
Okay.
they probably before we asked how can I donate money, and there is money benefits, and this intent gets triggered.
Yeah, but if you
Mm.
go all the way back up in the conversation,
How can I give
if you could
money?
scroll all the way up, can you scroll up or not?
No, this is the top.
Um, okay, it asks who we are, and it's interesting as this is a good cause. If you want to donate,
Hmm.
make it easy for me. Anyway,
Sh- Well, but I think it is not the first intent they want to serve, in my opinion, because I think they are focusing on families, professionals, doctors. My opinion.
no, no, I agree. It's about sharing information. But if someone wants to donate money, if you're a charity, that's your lifeline.
Oh well, sure. I
Um,
will.
Pick
So,
one or type
for
something.
example, education learning.
Okay. So we click education and learning. Then it says we have lots of resources and guidance to help you support your deaf child's education. Would you like to know more about preschool or early years, primary education, secondary education, or further education and beyond? And then it gives us a menu repeating actually what it said before. So they could have skipped half the text and select and basically say select one of the options below,
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
opinion at least. So
Yes, I
and then we
can
get the same
try
buttons.
press full, just using the keyword, and let's see what happens.
Okay. So we type preschool. And here are some popular topics about preschool and early years education. You can also type your questions, and I will try my best to answer. Um, it takes a long time to. I was wondering, would we be able to go directly to a certain topic by using? Uh, could you say and remember learning at home, and then say, if
Mm,
now say end chat, and we start all over with them.
okay,
And
so
chat.
it.
Let's see what it does. Before you did,
Oh,
you go. Did I help answer your query? Just say yes, and then we start all over again. Okay, and then it says
okay. Now,
great. Want to receive?
you see, now they are asking for money. Let's say they are inviting me to become a member.
If I already end the chat, then I'm not interested in anything else. This is the wrong place, in my opinion, the wrong place to do it.
Mm,
You should start with that. If you're funded by charities, you need charities to as your lifeline. Be bold and just ask for it. There's no shame in that. That you start your conversation by please understand that we can only do this and make this chatbot and everything else we do by donations. If you care to donate, please do. You can do that right now, right here, by clicking this link, or we will ask you again at the end. And then you've framed it, you've nudged them, you've done everything possible to get them to donate. And then it's not a problem at the end when you ask them to donate. So that's how I would do it.
yes,
But it says here, I want to
I
receive
get your
further tailored
point.
information.
Mhm.
So also here it says join our free membership community. They should want money. Why free? Ask for a donation. No, seriously, I'm not joking. If you do good work, there's no shame in asking for a donation. Um, they provide great support and great resources. Okay, we're just say no,
I will
thank you,
say no, thank you.
and then we
And he says, thanks for chatting with me. And now
okay,
I
but
can
now we
also um,
can you
close the.
close it and then reopen it?
Oh,
See what
just
it
a
does.
moment. Okay. Are you sure you want to close your session? Confirm. And here
Okay,
we go
here
again.
we go again. So we're reopening the chatbot. Alex is
Yeah.
back. We're not going to say hi. We're going to say other. Just say other.
Okay, that's
Or
fine.
other. And then it's going to, with your support, we can be there for every deaf child who needs us. There are lots of ways you can get involved, although my answers have been tailored for parents, blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's a lot of, we do have a lot of information about the ways you can support our work here, get involved. You can also type your question or select from popular topics below. This is interesting. All of a sudden, when you're other, then
There is
fundraising, volunteering, campaigning, donating, or in chat
donating.
becomes an option. Now, well, okay.
I will ask here, how can I donate? Oh no, what's the question? How can I give money?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it recognizes it. See, we get the same. It doesn't recognize
Oh
it,
no, it's the
but I
same
think
one.
we should try and get. But I think we should try and get to a certain topic directly. So
Okay, donating.
just type school. Type one word, school. See what it does.
School, okay.
See what does it do? We have lots of resources and guidance to help you support your deaf child's education. Would you like to know more about preschool? Or we go again to the same
Again,
menu. So there's the problem is you need to go through so many steps to get somewhere. In
yes,
my
you have
my
to
opinion,
choose,
that's
yeah, you have to type
I
or
think
click on the buttons to go into the sub dialogues.
yeah. What happens if you click primary education? Let's see if where it takes us.
Let's see.
Here are some popular topics. Again, we get another menu. See?
Well, I
Additional
will.
support at school, tips for choosing, preparing for primary school, personal passport, see more topics.
But I would like
There's
to ask something, if you don't mind. I
sure,
will say, for
go.
example, I'm worried about my child's school
Hearing?
career. I'm worried.
I'm pretty
Ah,
sure.
okay. Yeah, I think we are to the same menu of tutors. Yeah, we have lots of
I
us.
was
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it doesn't recognize the intent.
Mm.
And well, the good thing is there's no emotion in the bot because it could have picked up on worry. I am worried. It did
Yeah.
not. Um, it just so there's Alex is not very sensitive to your feelings, um, which which is maybe good on one hand because he is or she or it is of course a chatbot. It's not a person, so it doesn't have to show empathy. But the problem is um, it's not handling the intents correctly. If
Yeah, sure.
I am real honest, and that's a pity
Well,
because it's all in there.
Yeah, I think they decided to go for a fixed scheme to organize information according to some particular intents. I feel that the conversation is guided. That's what I mean.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, but they
Exactly.
basically tried to put a whole website into the structure, and yeah, and it's not working. Sorry, it makes it very difficult to communicate with this chatbot, and it's probably faster to go through the website to get what I want.
Well, let's say it's not very conversational. What I would say. You have to type or click buttons, and as a reaction, the event gets triggered, and it sends you
The
to
wrong,
another.
the wrong
Yeah.
one. So um, um, I don't think they put in anything extra other than only this. Um,
Well, but
shall
we
we try
can.
some?
Yeah, we might ask, for example, what's the weather like?
Yeah. Or does the weather affect my hearing? You could ask
Okay.
that.
No, this is good. How
What's the
the
weather like? Yeah,
how can affect.
there's a variety of tests. Whoa, whoa, whoa! This? This is they're putting out too much text.
I
You
agree
can you
with
don't even
you.
have time to read it. How the weather can affect my hearing? There
Hearing.
are a variety of tests that can be used to find out how much hearing your child has. The test will be used to depend on used will depend on your child's age and stage of development. It's possible to test the hearing of all children from birth. Screening tests are normally done first, and it's likely that there's a hearing loss. The child will be referred to an audiologist. Audiologist will then perform a range of objective and/or behavioral tests to build up an accurate picture of the child's hearing. For more information, visit Hearing Tests for Children and a link. And then underneath, there's another text box. Can you scroll down? Not scroll. Also, here are some related topics: audiograms, newborn hearing screening, and chat. Now, and chat would not be really a related topic, but that's besides. That's my. It should be separate from the topics because it's not a topic. Um,
Yes, also was wondering about the end chart because it's not for the user. I mean, it's for the from the developer the side of view. And the chart, if I click end chart, for example, okay, then it starts
yeah, then it starts
it
again.
triggers, yeah, but yes, I have mixed feelings about this button because it could be useful, but from I don't, I really don't know. I have to think about it.
Well, let's be honest. My opinion. I think
Yeah,
they should be more bold when asking for money. Anybody who's getting in there, not just the other people, because there might be grandparents of a deaf child that might be looking for information, but also willing to donate. That's one thing, and I think they're trying to put in too much information with too big text blocks in there. And I think they're basically translating the website, the information, which is the structure they use in the website to put it in the chatbot, and they they didn't. Well, it seems that they didn't check for how consumers actually search for information. They just translated. It seems like they translated the structure of the chatbot, the website, to the chatbot. That's my
Uh,
opinion. I don't
mhm.
know how you view this, but
I agree with you on the second point about the text length. There is what I call a wall text, and it's not so easy to read. So, for example, I would like to format better this paragraph. You could split or go to a new line so it would be easier to read and also to format in bold some keywords, for example. It would be easier to read.
I
Um,
agree.
mm, uh, yes, th- I don't mind.
You know, are you ready? Go all the way down. Say something like, so it says yes or no. We're going to type something else. Um,
we can say maybe, maybe.
yeah, see what it does. So we're typing in
uh,
maybe instead of yes or no. And
and
then, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that message. You can try rephrasing your question. Yeah, we can, in all honesty, I think we can stop trying to do other stuff. It wasn't trained to recognize any other intent.
is that exactly? I think so.
So, I think, well, I don't know how long this chatbot has been around. It's a good way to start, but it needs a lot of work to make it functional and easy to access for the consumers. Um, and sometimes, as you said before, less is more. And I think that in this case, less would be a lot more. Anyway, that's my opinion. And yeah, there is some because the website is actually quite good. So there is a lot of potential. Let me put it that way.
I do agree with you on the training point because I have tried also other utterances and it triggered the wrong intent. So,
So maybe
yeah,
they use the wrong technology or a very simple technology that doesn't allow them to do this properly. That could also be the case.
we should ask them.
Well, I'm not stopping you. I think we should and inform them that we tested it. Maybe you should figure out who the conversation designer is and send that person a message.
Wow, well, I could do
Why
that.
not?
Yeah,
I think you should. And then when you know who it is, well, you let me know. We tag that person in the post
yeah.
so they know they're out there. No, but seriously, we don't know how long it's been around, but Alex could use some improvement and also be used more effectively to get donations, in my opinion, at least. And yeah, and be more user friendly, because right now it's not that user friendly. You agree?
I do agree with you. It's maybe it's I don't know if it is being set up early or it is for here on a longer time. But yeah, I think there is a room for improvement.
Okay, that sounds hopeful. Maybe you can bring them the improvement, because I think we both know how to change this and what to change it to. So yeah, we can offer them help. It's a charity, so why not? Um, Going back to this, do we want to say anything more about this chatbot about Alex, or are we done with Alex?
Um, no, I think we are done with Alex.
Sorry, Alex, we're done with you. Um, That sort of brings us to an end, almost an end of the podcast. Is there anything, or from your experience, any advice you want to give to our colleagues in the field or to management in companies, um, how to develop chatbots, what to do, what not to do, or something that you see happening every time that they shouldn't do, something you want to share?
As a suggestion, do you? Well, what I would suggest is to have a clear goal in mind. Because if you don't have a clear goal and you start this kind of project because your competitor is doing the same, then it's not going to work.
That is actually a very simple but a very good advice, and a lot of companies are indeed saying we need to have a chatbot because our competitor has one, and then not properly giving it a purpose, basically strategizing it, and then only after that building it, and they start something and they have no idea where it's going. Then it's very hard for the team to be successful in any possible way. So maybe that's also what we see in Alex. We needed a chatbot to share information. Yeah, but basically it's sharing all information on the website, and maybe it's a bit too much. Um, so I think you're totally right on that, and I think that's a good way. Unless you have anything else you want to share with the community that you think, okay, besides the purpose, a proper goal
Uh, mm,
is important. You have
I
another
would,
one?
well, another
Go,
one.
go.
For example, start also with the existing data, collect all the possible data that you receive from the real users, from website, from logs, from any type of channel
Customer
of,
service.
yeah, exactly, because there you see what people ask and how people really talk. And so you don't have
That's
conversation designers or AI trainers to create their own utterances, thinking that maybe they might ask these because I come, for example, I come from North Italy, but people in South Italy talk in a different way, and this
so.
is
So basically, you're saying base yourself when you start training and building and designing. Base yourself on facts and not what
exactly
you think is right, but what the actual information, the actual conversations or questions of customers or patients or
sure.
whatever.
If you can't have this
So that
data, okay, that's fine. You will have to find a way. But if you have the chance to have existing pool of data, why don't you use that? It would be easier
it's
for
funny that
everyone.
it's funny that you say that because I always any conversation designer that starts in a company or in a new company, I would always tell them go and sit with customer service for a day, 2 days, 3 days, I don't care how much. But every minute you spend there listening or listening back to a telephone conversation, any hour you spend on that is many hours won in the designing of the conversations because you understand what customers are complaining about, you understand what they're talking about, the questions they ask, but also the response of the employees of the company. So the people who handle the customers and the customer questions and complaints, and that's where the real value and knowledge is. So before you put one line of code or one piece of conversation design on paper or in the computer, start listening and talk to actual customers. That's also what we do. We interview real customers to understand their needs and beliefs, and that gives you a lot of valuable, actionable information to start designing. So I think you gave two wonderful tips, which are useful for everybody in the field. Thank you for that. If someone is looking for you, Valentina, where can they find you? Of course, in Italy, I understand, but be a bit more specific.
Okay, people can find me on LinkedIn. It's the only social
Okay.
that it is approved by me. So go for LinkedIn,
Ah, very
check
good.
my check my name, Valentina Adami.
Valentina Adami. We'll put you in the we'll tag you. So okay. If anybody is looking for the podcast, you can find us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. Thank you very much, Valentina, and I hope to see you soon, maybe in Edinburgh in March,
Sure.
on the European Chatbot Conference. Hope to see a lot of you there. And thank you very much.